right, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I know after lunch and laziness, you probably feel like you need a little downtime, but we have something very exciting for you this afternoon. Um, you will be seeing this session through a tool similar to a Google Hangout, so Skype. So our presenter, as you can see, is Paula, is down there in the bottom right-hand corner. Due to a travel emergency, she couldn't get here. She couldn't make it here. So we are improvising, but she will continue to do the presentation right here, and you can see her right there down in the bottom. Can you hear us, Paula?
I can hear you.
Fantastic. And she'll go ahead and do her presentation to you all today. And then anytime you have a question, please throw your hand up and I will come and just bring the microphone to you and she can hear your question and will answer you, if you have any kind of questions. And when there's open questions at the end. But without further ado, I'm going to let Paula go ahead and start. All right. So are you ready, Paula?
I'm ready.
All right. The show is all yours.
Okay. Thank you. First, I'd like to welcome everybody and especially thank Jennifer and Martin and Lynn for helping me set this up. Our school is on trimesters and a little reorganizing kind of through everything for a loop. So it's my pleasure to be with you at least virtually. This afternoon, I wanted to spend a little time sharing what I do here and some of my colleagues working with group projects and collaborating with Google applications. My students know this is the dramatic in me. I usually have bad music in the background, the dreaded group project. Most students, actually all students, at least of mine, hate this. And I feel that I'm successful when I can get them at the end of a term to at least tolerate it. And some actually don't dread it anymore. And part of that has to do with some of the changes I've made, the way I do it and what I share with them and what they're able to see happen. A little bit of background on this. There's a lot of K through 12 stuff going on with 21st century skills, and collaboration is at the forefront there. And K through 12 works towards getting students ready for college and for the workplace. And at the college level now, a lot of what I teach is in project management and business processes, and I don't know where you can get away without collaboration. So the better we can be at it, the better. So with this is something I do use in the classroom and also in my online classes. Just a little background on some of the projects we do. For example, in a classroom, and this was actually a project management class that had two separate sections, so they met on different days, and that was a first. I usually only have one. And so I was trying to also pull these group projects together for different sections like this, which kind of lent itself towards the online environment. However, my day students who physically walk in the building and pass each other in the hall, I think had more trouble seeing that, yes, they could do that, even though they were in different classes. But one example was a small group which included a digital media major and two other business majors, and they created a video for a nonprofit group of community and homeschool educators that were traveling around to different parts of the world and meeting with other community groups. And the goal of the video was to catch the flavor of their travels and the organization. So some of the issues or problems they had to deal with, one was at the time during the term this was being done, the team that was traveling was over, I want to say Nigeria. The time difference was roughly 8 hours later, which really caused an issue with live communication. However, tools like sharing in Google and even Skype messaging help there. Since then, and this term, we've got groups working on different projects, and again, both online and in the classroom. So the main tools I use in Google Drive and Google Apps, we use a lot of Google Docs, if you're familiar with the word processing side, some Google Slides for presentations, Google Sheets as spreadsheets, and Google Forms, especially in the business process class. They need to work on surveys and share those with at least the student body and faculty and staff here. And the backbone of all of these things is that they have the shared work area, but beyond that, that they can work simultaneously. So I'm also getting rid of some of those excuses. I had the wrong version, I didn't get the email. Part of the understanding with these projects, and one of the things I go through at the beginning of the term, is the idea of a team charter, or to share some ground rules. And there are some general rules that the group as a whole will pull together, and then each team makes their own rules as far as, okay, we're going to text at 6 p.m. tonight, or we're all going to be in the Google Drive in this particular document at X time. And making them accountable for all that stuff definitely helps. So the sharing in Google Drive, I know a number of other educators, my colleagues, and also some of the people I know through the local project management chapter and others who use Google Drive really as a storage and more asynchronously, so that, okay, the document's up there, go out and look at it. And just if you're not familiar with the different sharing that you can do, you can set up for people to edit, you can set up for comment only, so to view and just insert the comments on the side, and then of course view only, which just lets have a peek. And you can do that individually for all your users there. One of the things I did for today, and you'll see at the end of the slides, is I set up a document in a folder that will let you go in with the link that's up there. And the one thing I found is when you share a public link like that, people can get in and edit and use it that way. With the link only, it does allow for anonymous editing. So you want to think about how you do the sharing there, but it will let you in to edit. If you want to create, you have to have the Google account. So again, the different applications, and a couple of or one additional I wanted to point out, there's a sample here, and for anybody who's teaching project management skills as part of it, there's a tool out there called Ganter, spelled just like Gantt chart with the ER at the end, and it's actually through a third party other than Google, but what they've added is integration to Google Drive. So again, this becomes a file that not only can be shared out there, but it's web-based, so anybody with who's on has permission to can open it up and be part of that. Little iffy on the simultaneous editing, but it's a pretty decent product, and something I've been running to at my end, especially online, are Mac users, which has made project management interesting, because where we had a focus to a degree on Microsoft Project, unless we start requiring Windows machines outside of school, that's going to be a problem using the desktop version. So in Google Docs, again, if you haven't shared a document and been in there to edit while other people are in there, just a little bit on the screenshot, and again you'll get to see this, but if you notice the pink line here, that is another version of me. I had set up this document, and I have, I think I have 4 Google accounts now, which is probably not the wisest thing, but you can see everybody in the document at the same time represented by a color line, and also their name would pop up. A side note here, you can bring Word documents in and then open them up in Google, and they will convert. Formatting issues I've run into, things like tables tend to stretch in different directions. And SmartArt, generally you need to save SmartArt as images first, and then you'll be fine. There's a little icon up at the top right near where my picture icon is, and when is more than one person in the document, you'll be able to click on that and see who else is in the document. It will open up a shared chat window, and you can have a running chat going. You can't, as of now, you can't save the chat. The chat does not save automatically. So what you can do though, and what we usually do, and I tell my students, is to copy and paste the chat in a different document so they could go back and refresh themselves when they're submitting status reports and other types of documents. This is my know-it-all screen, and this was a third grade instructional technologist who showed me this. In Google Documents, there is a revision history that you can open up, and you would find it under File and then Revision History. The pane that opens up here on the right will show every revision along the way, along with who made it. Again, if the group is logging in to see it, you will see names. If it's the public link, then you will see anonymous, and Google comes up with some strange names for anonymous. I believe I was anonymous bat yesterday. So they add the different animals. With the revision history, it's also color coded. So on this one that says today at 10:43, what you see in pink here basically matches that. If I clicked on the other revision, it would show me that version of the document. So you really can keep not just a revision history, but if it's a project where you're trying to really get a group effort and have students take different pieces of it, you can look in and monitor and see who's doing their part. And this is the part that has been very helpful, especially working with students on the group projects, because when they see this and know this, I get a lot less resistance once they see that it actually works, I guess. So they feel more comfortable that if somebody on the team is not doing their part, that there's additional besides individual pieces. I just wanted to show a sample of a Google form if you haven't used them. I use this actually a lot instead of SurveyMonkey, and what I like about it is that as my students create it, again, these are all saved in a class area, but they also can share these with their team. The send form button gives them the live link, and then we're able to send that to our student activities office, who will post the link in our intranet for the school. So if they want to get feedback from the students and the population here, and the piece up top here, if you notice, the form settings, this is because those first options require the College of Westchester login. There's a small group of us set up on Google Apps for Education. None of what I've been doing here and showing you requires that you have Google Apps for Education. You can do it, you know, with everybody setting up their accounts and just controlling it with folders. At the beginning, when we first set it up, they were trying it strictly with our school emails, and that actually caused a problem because most students already had a Gmail account, and this was adding one more account that they weren't going to look at. By giving them the choice to use their Gmail accounts, most of them have that going to their phones, so they would see any updates and alerts coming from their Google work with their teammates. So for synchronous collaborative work, the Google Chat and the documents themselves is very useful. Again, you have to copy and paste it and save it somewhere to hold on to it after you log out. Google Hangouts is a great tool. I've used it more successfully from home because of certain restrictions on downloading plugins and things, and I can't remember if it uses Java or Flash, but something in there causes a problem on our school machines. We have another web conferencing service that we use, so that's for we'll go for that. But when I'm home and I'm setting something up with my online students, I like to try Google Hangouts and some other tools. For asynchronous work, Google is giving you a shared workspace, which I believe is up to 15 gig. And I think about 4 years ago what that meant in buying flash drives. That was about $40 worth of flash drive. You have the version and history control, so your students can go back. If somebody deletes something, they can go back. So far, I haven't seen a limit on the history. And then as faculty, the obnoxious eye see everything, so nobody gets away with anything in here. And just a little bit about my setup. I set up a course folder at the beginning of the term. I give permission to my whole class. I usually start it with their school emails and let them change it, tell me what they want to do to see everything. And then as we set up our project work at the beginning of the terms, I go with their teams, and then they each have a team folder in there, which originally I kept open, and then I found a lot of the teams wanted to kind of have their own space where they knew nobody else was getting into, and for various reasons. So the team folders are the student team members and myself, and then in that course folder, I keep a resources area, which is view only, and that I put all the original templates, rubrics, anything just for a central place. And this, it has benefited me a lot. One, it has gotten rid of a lot of the support for, I couldn't get to it, I didn't see it, I didn't know if my team members updated, because it's everybody's responsibility to check the folder, and they get alerts on it. It lets me look at work along the way, so if they're working on a draft of something and they say, hey, could you take a look at it ahead of time? I don't know about you, but my email box is constantly over limit because of all the attachments. So this has saved me a lot of grief with my email, and I generally have no technical problems with it. There's usually not a new add-in uploading or anything like that. I signed up for Google Apps Update, so I just get a quick email, and very often I don't even look at, excuse me, the details. I just go out the next time and see if I can figure out what changed. Usually pretty minor cosmetic stuffs and more underneath. And so finally, these are the links to a folder and a Q&A document out there. And the second one, you'll see even without a Google account, if you don't have one, you can log right in. It'll take you right to the document, and you can add questions in there. And I just wanted to have a document for you to play with and answer any questions or find out what you think and how you're doing things like this.
All right, thank you, Paula. Let me ask the audience, does anyone have questions that we can ask for Paula, how she's set this up for her students? Paula, you did such a good job. You've covered everything successfully, I think. Is there anyone in here already using Google Apps with their students? All right, so Paula, it looks like lots of people are using this tool already, and so they're very happy to hear the presentation. Here comes one question.
Okay.
Hello, I just had one question regarding breakout sessions. Have you had a need to do the different like breakout sessions inside of groups, and what did you use for that inside of Google? Like, you know how you have different projects for groups and you want to give them certain breakout sessions within the online. Have you had any experience with that?
Okay, I couldn't quite hear that.
Paula,
Yes.
have you used breakout groups? Have you taken your subdivided the groups so that they have an area to work inside?
Yeah, in the Google folder. Yes. Yeah, that's what with the team folders. And actually, I'll switch off that screen for a minute and let me go out to Google. And yeah, the folders is basically how I do it, and just the permissions are just for the specific team members. So in a live session, absolutely they could work in their folders. I haven't done that as much online, and I really like that idea. So to do it live.
Thank you. That was what he was asking. All right. Anyone else have a question or anything like that? Well, Paula, we have hit it. If you'd like to put your slide back up with the resources, so some
Okay.
people were trying to take a picture or copy that down, and your contact information if they have future
Okay,
questions.
absolutely. Let me go back out there. And
Okay. And is the best way to directly email you if they have questions for follow-up?
absolutely. And I will get back to you immediately.
Immediately between classes. Well, we thank you, Paula, very much. And we're very proud the technology worked and we could see and hear you perfectly and all of your slides. So thank you for sharing with us and making yourself available to us in Boston today. And we really appreciate it. And if you'll leave that up so some folks can copy that down as well, we appreciate your time. And
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody.
thank you very much. So these are 30-minute Aspire sessions. So in 10 minutes, a new session will be coming in. So feel free to attend another one or stay in this room. Thank you. Thank you.